Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and I thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm up again with my personal haul and the cracker box, which I did measure. I can measure that made up now because I've actually made that one, and somebody asked to see the fruity borders, so I've cut the fruity borders out and we're going to watercolour them. And of course you can use them on cards or anything, so basically this is what we're going to do. But first I'm going to show you that one, and it is absolutely fabulous. I'll put it that way in. It is gorgeous, really love it. And that's what it looks like. If I can get it into the camera when you pull it together. I mean, personally I think I should have pulled it a little bit tighter, but you know, it is wonderful. And now fully made up and cinched in, I can tell you that it is 8.5 inches, a fraction over 8.5 inches. Now I can't measure the sort of like diameter of it because I haven't got it would be a fabric tape measure, wouldn't it, that I'd have to use. But I can tell you that you can get quite a lot of goodies inside that. Yes you can. In fact, I've got my water bottle here, hang on. I'll just put some air in it because I've squidged it around, and I use those Propel dehydration things, so you can see that to a regular 16-ounce water bottle and the width of it, you know. So if you've got a waist on your water bottle, then that's basically the size of that cracker. It is absolutely glorious. Really easy to do. You just cut two and then you just glue them in a line, score them, and that's it. That's basically it. That's all you've got to do. Really solid cardstock I use, so mine's like a gift box. So that's the first one that I wanted to show you. Right, now then, onto those fruity borders, and I'll get my scruffy mat out. So there we go, there's my scruffy mat, and I've got stuff all over the table here, so I'm just moving it. And we've got the cherries, so I'll get my cherry bits first. And this is what you get on the cherry border. You get bits, of course, that pop out. You get a double, there you go. So you've got your innie and you've got your frame, so you can punch those bits out and have that hollow. And then you get a solid little cherry in the cherry border set. And then for the pears, they come like that. Let's get close. Ugh, trying to show you details. See if that'll do it. Whoops. Now I've just ended up dropping it. Move slowly. I'm trying to find my focus point. My focus point, there you go, is consistently changing. Yeah, it's really hard, but we've got a little embossed bit there. You've got a bit that cuts out from there, and you've got a little embossed bit down there. Hopefully the sun will calm down and I'll be able to show you better. And then you get the frame again, like I've just shown you on the cherry, but on that one I just pushed the outy bit out and I'm just trying to pick it up. So that's the outy bit. And then this is the half pear bit that would go back inside there. So you've got those, really sweet. And then you also get a whole pear that's got two little seeds in it. I hope you can see that. And then the strawberry set cuts out like this. So you can push those little leaf bits out if you want to, but I've cut all of this in watercolour cardstock, which is quite thick. It's the stuff from Walmart. And I'm always telling people to get it because it's great watercolour cardstock for the money. It's huge pieces in the pad that you get, and you can crop them down if you want to, just for storage, but they're just a great buy. So that's what that looks like, and that comes with a whole strawberry with 3 little embossed dots down there. It comes with obviously the strawberry bit that dropped out of that bit, but you don't have to put that back in if you don't want to. And then you get one with the frame again, and you can pop all of those bits out. Right, so what do we do first? Let's do the pear first. Yeah, why not? And I'm going to use Tombow watercolour markers. And I've just grabbed a handful of them, so I'll just tell you what they are as I use them. And I'm just grabbing those over here. Here I've got my Alina Craft stamp block that I like to scribble off to. So these are basically my watercolour brush and my Tombow markers. And hopefully there's going to be kind of like shades of pear in here somewhere. I think I'm going to go for those two colours for my pear. And put those over there. And I'll tell you what these are. These are 158 and 991. So first up, I'm going to go in with my pale colour. And I'm going to just scribble some down onto here. I'm going to take my watercolour brush. I'm going to move that one. And I'm just going to... I'm not going to be perfect. Absolutely do not be perfect. It's more fun that way. I think sometimes if you set yourself up for unachievable perfection, you can end up being disappointed. I don't like being disappointed, so I just aim what I'm, you know, for what I'm capable of. Yeah. Not that I lack ambition, I just do what I'm capable of. I'm going to put a little bit on there, maybe a little bit on the leaf. So those are looking very blobby, and then I'm thinking about some shadow now, so I'm going to scribble that out a little bit more, and I'm going to give a second coat, and I just want to go down onto that bit. I'm going to go here. My watercolour brush might actually be a little bit too damp, but I'll dry it off after. Right, so I'm going to leave that a second and I will let them dry and I'll be right back. Right, those are sufficiently dry, and now I'm going in with my 158, and I have cleaned this block, so I'm just going to scribble some of that down. Now cards like this, of course, they're perfect for the summer, they're perfect for Thanksgiving, you know, whatever you want to use something like this for. And I'm just putting a little bit on, and then I'm going to use some water so that my pears are not absolutely perfect. So I'm just blobbing it on, and then I'm going to mingle it and put a little bit in here. And I think I'm just going to do the outside of this one and leave that one yellowy looking. I'm also going to do my leaf while I'm here. Right, so into that now I'm going to squirt just a little puddle of water, and I'm going to go back into here, and we're going to just push that around just a little bit so that it all starts getting mottled and a little bit blended. I'll go round and round with my brush. This watercolour cardstock is very good. Obviously if you go too mad with it, it will start pilling up on you, but then so do a lot of so-called branded watercolour papers that you can pay an awful lot of money for. I'm going to go around that bit as well. I hope that you can see this. So we're just going to get those colours flowing in, and I sincerely hope that when I get some fruit on my pear trees, they're this colour. I've actually got two pear trees. I've got the pineapple pear tree and the hood pear tree, which I highly recommend if you live in North Florida. Please excuse my throat once again, because you get less fire blight. I mean, some people out there labour under the illusion that keeping fruit trees is easy. Oh no, it's not. It really is a labour of love. I mean, you've got fire blight, you've got to look out for all the bugs, the dieback, and I think probably citrus is the hardest for me, because I'm constantly inspecting the leaves. When I spot any yellow, you know, I go screaming into the house thinking I've got a greasy spot or something, and I start looking for all kinds of solutions and cures. Yeah, I can be quite hilarious after a trip into the garden. I'm going to go in for the stem now. Stem on there, and I'm going to do just a little touch of the stem on there. Now I am going to put some white cardstock under there so that you can see it, because I can't complain about bright sunshine. Can you see that? You've just got a hint of a tint in your pears. And then I'm going to be popping the yellow bit back in, and I've got that, and I've got my green frame to go around that one. No, that's not right, is it? Where did I go wrong? No, yeah, that's it. And then I've got my yellow pear. So there you go. Absolutely not perfection at all, just wonderfully blending into each other. And it's just, you know, the colour that I'd like to think that a pear is. Right, I'm going to clean up, and then let's do cherries and strawberries. Okay, so for my strawberries I'm going 856 and 177, and I'm going to do the red part first, because if I go into the green then I can cover it with green, if you know what I mean. So I'm putting down plenty onto my block, just scribbling it off. Tombow markers are absolutely brilliant, they do last quite a while. Right, I've juiced my brush up and I'm going into that, and this is just going to be super easy. I mean, to be honest, I'm not purposely going into the green area, I'm just being quick, you know. And I will show you how to avoid putting green onto your red in a minute. Don't worry if you start looking a little bit pink as you go along, because that can kind of, you know, add to it. And do that one. Now I wish I had a stamp that was just a little seed, do you know what I mean? So that you could dot down little apple seeds and things like that. And strawberry seeds. So if anybody's thinking of making teeny weeny little stamp, that would probably be a nice idea. So once again, I'm not being perfect. Go in and just darken some of your areas up. And you could of course get some black paint, and you could do some very fine splashes of paint. But I don't mind some of my strawberries ending up pink. So I've used up basically all of that now. Right, this is how I do my brush. I just squeeze it out onto kitchen roll and keep brushing it until it comes up clean. And then I clean this off, and now I'm going to show you the easy way not to get green into your red. I did notice actually that I didn't do that one, so I will, you know, kind of off camera do that one. But first of all, let me show you how you keep your green out of your reds. Now this one has got little lift up pieces, and that makes life a lot easier. So you can just push that forward. You can do it to all of them in that row, and then you just take a sheet of clean watercolour cardstock and you just pop it right underneath there. And then I'm going to put down my green, and then I'll finish this one off on camera, and then we'll come back and do the cherry. So I've got my green there, in with my brush. And if you put enough on, it will, you know, push that red into the green. so that you've got that. And if I lift that off, you'll be able to see that you can do your green without touching your red. There you go. So I'm going to finish that one and I'll be right back. Right, so I've dropped the camera right down so that you're able to see, and I'm going to pick this one up because I've done the pears and the strawberries now. You can see filled with imperfection, little blotches, just really cute. That's just how I love it. That piece of course will go into there. Now what I've decided to do is, because I'm like doing colouring and it does take a little bit of time, I'll come back tomorrow and make cards using what we've coloured in today. So that's going to be my plan for tomorrow. So the next one is the cherries. Now I do intend to pop those little holes out. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. I mean, you can cut them and leave them in, but I did pop a few out just to show you. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. And then for my cherries, I'm going to go in with these colours, and they are 133 and 885. So this is a slightly sort of brighter cherry red, and obviously that's a lime green. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my red first, and hopefully my camera will pick up the colour differences. I think I might actually do some orange as well. This is 933, so I'm going to put some of that down. So kind of get a Bing cherry kind of look. So I am going to add quite a bit of water to that and just go over it. So it's just got a very light touch of orange. And then we'll just run the red into it. I'm leaving that one all stuck together for now. Right, so I don't really need to wipe my brush off to go into here. I'm just going to have a little bit of a difference of colour. Now one of the best fruit paper pads that you can get is a digital one from Snap Click Supply, which is the digital arm of Echo Park, and it's the Cosmo Cricket pack called Garden Variety. It's quite retro and it's got some really lovely images in it, so you should click over there and have a look at that. Right, so I've got very slight tinty of orange coming through my cherry red. Now you can of course do it all cutie, you know, where you've got bright solid colours and then you can layer on your leaves in a different colour of cardstock. But even though this has taken a few minutes here, I still think it's probably the fastest way to do die cuts like this. Right, so I do have little bits of orange coming through. Right, so I'm just going to clean my brush and wipe my little pad there, and I'll be right back. Okay, so next up is that lime green, which is 133, that I'm going to use on the stems. And as I said, I'll be up tomorrow. We'll make 3 lovely little note cards or something using what we've got here today. So these may appear to be a little bit too pale for me, so I might go in with some of that green that I used on the pear. And I have 4 cherry trees. Yes I do. They are Bing cherries, but I have to tell you, I have been able to successfully grow strawberries, and I do love strawberries. I kind of buy the plants each year and then the heat gets them, and then they start getting all mouldy. So there's an enjoyable subject. So I've got a little bit of lime there, but that's not quite dark enough for me. So I'm going to go in with 158 and just touch it up in a few areas. See if this improves the stems. Oh yeah, that's better. Just needed it a little bit darker. I don't mind if any of the lime sticks through. I just needed a darker stem. Right, I am going to be happy with that. I'll let them dry a few seconds and then I'll put them on the white cardstock so you can have a close-up. Right, so there are the pears, the strawberries and the cherries, and I'm going to do my best to get a close-up. You can see they're just all very, very loosely coloured. That's all I've done. If you've got little white areas, don't worry about it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let those continue drying. I'm going to keep the Tombow 991 on my desk with those, and then tomorrow we're going to make 3 little cards using what we did today. I thank you so much for joining me. Have an absolutely awesome day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.